All right, gang. All right. Double Shot, Beyond Fallen, Hate Crowned, and The Great Distance. Two of my favorite songs off their latest CD, As the Spires Fall. Again, we're all pulling for Joe, and we're wishing him the speediest of recoveries, man, because we need him here. We need him for the Metal Meltdown, man. That's coming up May 4th and 5th at the V-Spot. So, yeah, we need him for that, man. But we need him around just because he's a good guy, man. And you know, everybody loves Joe. But I'm gonna kill.
Plus I think a lot of bands like look up to them.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. They've been around. I'm gonna kill the background music here, and because we have a special guest in studio right now, we have Chuck Silsby with us, man. How you doing?
That's me, I guess. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I pretty much. Like I was saying before, I really liked. I like watching interviews by a lot of my favorite bands. I like seeing how they feel about things and how they feel about all kinds of music, and you know, metal too. I've always loved metal since I was a teenager, you know. So I thought why not do an interview, because like, you know, I like to express myself too, and it's a cool thing to do. And I kind of got obsessed with watching interviews of metal bands, you know, some of my favorite metal bands. So I was like, I'd like to do that. I want to make a record. You know, I want to play guitar.
I want to be a rock star.
Yeah. That was not any Nickelback reference. That's one band I don't listen to. I like a lot of music, but you know.
So, Chuck, man, I guess why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, man? Give us some history here.
A lot of people know the band I was in for. Well, I started in like 2000. I started playing with a drummer in 1998, 1999, and giving my age away here, you know. But I had a band called Empty for a while, and I still have some of those songs recorded, and I might put those on one of my next albums. Then, like around 2000, I started a band called The Way. And I had many members throughout the way. I had like 7 or 8 drummers, like 5 bass players throughout like a period of 10 years. And finally, after meeting Shiny, and then Shiny joined the band, and we instantly had 4 songs down. You know, because a lot of times when I play with people, I'd say, "Well, I have a bunch of songs, want to learn them." You know, and I never had a bad relationship with any former band members. There was never a bad breakup or nothing. You know, so then I was with Shiny and Jansen for about 7 years. And in that time, I started my own solo project called Zovin, which kind of goes all over the place when it comes to music and metal and stuff. And Shiny and Jansen, we just kind of, you know, we decided we're all doing our own thing. We're all preoccupied doing our own thing, so kind of not doing The Way anymore. So I'm just doing Zovin right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, The Way, you guys were around for, well, you said 10 years, right?
Well, I started that in 2000, and then about 2009 is when I met Shiny, and Shiny and Jansen were in my band like the longest. And fun fact, they're the only guys I really wrote songs with because they were really talented, and I really felt that they had a lot to offer, like when it comes to songwriting. So I'd have a bunch of riffs, and instead of being like a dictator, like and stuff, I told those guys, "Hey, what should we do next? You know, let's you guys write the next part, you know, and then." Figure it out, you know.
Right.
So and that was really nice.
I know, like, and we haven't met until today, but you know, I know, like, just from hanging out on Facebook and following the local scene, The Way. I mean, you guys were everywhere. You played everywhere. You did everything.
Yeah, we played we played in Philly a bunch of times. Legendary Dobbs, we played there a few times. That was really cool. We're on the same played on the same like stage as Tool and Nirvana, and you know, I was like, wow, you know. And then played New York a couple times. We played New Jersey. You know, we played. So I had The Way going on total for about like 17 years.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
Shiny and Jansen were the main people in the band for the longest, and who I actually like, a lot of good times with them, and actually wrote songs together.
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean?
I've had Jansen here a couple times. That dude's amazing.
Yeah.
He really is.
It was really good writing songs with him, and him and Shiny, like they're just, they had a lot to offer when it came to writing songs with, and like they would adapt, and I had a bunch of songs, and Shiny learned 4 of my songs in like a half hour.
Wow.
And some of them, they were some of the easy ones, but I was like, wow. And then the real hard songs that I couldn't have with anyone else, Shiny's like, I'm going to learn how to play along to that riff, and he would. Jansen, he was able to play along to my riffs, and you know what I mean, and then write something else for the next part. And most people, like most drummers and bass players, and they would get like mad at me and be like, "Why do you have to play like that? That's too much." Like, and I'm like, I like weird timings. I like to, not play the same thing.
Right.
So
right.
like, yeah, both those guys are just,
amazing.
great to play with. Yeah. Now I'm doing my solo stuff, my Zovin project.
Yeah. So let's talk about Zovin.
There we go. See Facebook. Okay.
So tell us how Zovin came about, man.
I just kind of made up the name. I didn't know if anybody else had it, so I Googled it, and I guess there's a town called Zovin. There's a business called Zovin, and it's not copyrighted or trademarked for a band name. So I was like, oh, and it means something to me. Like, kind of, I like the letter Z. Melvins, one of my favorite bands ever. So, Vin, I don't know, something like that. So, I just had a lot of music that I wasn't doing with, and it started off like doing acoustic and industrial stuff because I have an acoustic album. But I decided just to add my own rock and heavy metal influences to my solo stuff, and I learned how to have drum programs online, or not online, but my friends gave me drum programs so I can try to make the drums sound as real as possible.
Right.
Which is a real tedious process, doing double bass and stuff like that. But so then I really, really enjoyed doing it. So now I'm kind of like want to start a band with my Zovin project. So anybody out there wants to like start a band with me, we'll write songs together.
There you go,
hey guys. Hey, I have some songs, but if you don't like them, we'll write new ones. It's cool,
So, I guess give us your view, as being in a band as opposed to being in a solo project. Here, I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, for me, for doing my solo stuff, when it came to, because the way we recorded sometimes, but it seemed like none of us were all together and happy with the recordings, and it costs a lot of money and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
All that kind of rigmarole, I guess you'd call it. But I haven't really, when I play live with Zovin, I don't really do the metal stuff because I don't have a full band. And I really, do you know Oz?
Yes.
Okay, and yeah, he like goes up there, he has the music, and even if he has nobody in the band, he has the music playing and he sings, like, and I admire that. That's like pretty cool, and I was like considering doing that. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of guts to go up and do that. But it was really fun having a full band and playing a live show and everything going wrong. I can't tell you how many like shows I played with The Way, and everything would go wrong. Like, if my stuff wasn't like not working, then Jansen's stuff was working, and if my stuff was all working fine, my amps, everything's working right, all of a sudden Jansen's pedal boards went on, and he's like, my pedal boards won't turn on. It was always something like that, but that was kind of like fun,
Right,
Some nights all of our stuff would work normally, and there would be no problems, and it'd be a great show. But sometimes the great shows were the ones where it was like everything went wrong, and that was a lot of fun. Or we'd be playing, and I remember before the Irish Wolf Pub had a stage, they would like you were playing and there was bar stools like right in front of your mic. So you couldn't even you were there playing and you were loud and like there was people right in front of you bumping into your mic stand and that was fun though.
Right.
Now this like with Zovin, like I would love to play live with it. And I'd love to have people to play with me. Not even just set members. And I've been jamming with some people like Ronnie Boyle. Like I've been writing some songs with him. Chris Huber. I'd love to play in a band with Chris Huber. Hey, Chris, if you're watching, or listening. But I haven't really played live when it comes to the metal part of Zovin. I haven't played live with it. And that's the only part I'm like I miss doing.
Yeah, so you're itching to do that.
Yeah, I mean I've played electronic, I've played acoustic, I have all that kind of stuff. But I miss playing the full band, playing live, and just the fun adventure, like good times, stuff like that.
Right.
Traveling real far to the show, not getting paid anything, coming home, hey. Fun times.
Oh my God! Everybody's got that same story, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you get?
Dude, so, how would you describe the sound of Zovin, man?
Oh, I don't know. I just try to take every influence I've had, every influence, and sometimes I'll try to pick certain bands I want this album to sound similar to, like this the Happy Snuggly Little Baby Kitties album. I actually tried to go for sounding like the Butcher Babies, which I love the Butcher Babies. Cult of Luna, big Cult of Luna fan, and I forget what else was, and the Melvins, of course. Everything I do metal, I'm gonna have some Melvins influence. They're my favorite band ever. But then, some people listen to some of it and they're like, oh, this sounds like the heavy metal side of Nirvana. And I'm like, I wasn't going for that, but I guess that's what my roots are. So, oh well,
right.
Whatever. Worked out. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with how it sounds. I mean, there's some nitpickers that are like, oh, you should have mastered it differently. But I wanted it to sound,
right, yeah.
I wanted it to sound clear, but I wanted it to sound real raw and real heavy and in your face at the same time,
Right. Well, and you're always gonna have those critics, and there's like a joke me and my buddies have. How many guitars does it take to play a song? 10.
Yeah.
1 to play the song and 9 to say I could do it better.
Oh yeah.
So you're always gonna have those guys.
You're gonna have that. Yeah, their arms crossed,
Well, you should have done this.
Yeah, it would have been better if you put a sweep in there.
I guess the bottom line is you're happy with it.
Yeah,
and that's you're the guy you have to satisfy first, and then hopefully that'll spread out.
Right. Yeah, and I'm really proud of it. Of course, you're never gonna have it perfect. I have every song on this CD. I have like 3 different mixes and masters of it, so I'm never completely happy,
right?
You know what I mean? I get such a anal perfectionist when it comes to it that, you know what I mean? You just kind of have to accept the best ones, and I'm overall though, I'm really happy with how it sounds, and I'm pretty proud of it, and
cool.
There's a lot of people I listen to it, and I sold the CD to, or have the CD, they really liked it, if nobody liked it, hey, that's okay too. It's me. It's my passion.
That's
my
it.
art.
That's it. You're the guy that has to be happy with it first.
Right, and I think that's how every musician should be. Every artist should be that, and because then you're expressing yourself honestly.
Right. And I always say the fans can spot a fake. Maybe not right away, but eventually they spot a fake.
I think so. Yeah, I think they can. Even if it's overly produced, having a producer is, I get that, and I think that's a good idea a lot of times, because having a producer is just having like an outside extra band member,
right?
It's having somebody else like join your band and kind of like
an extra set of ears.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that's good a lot of times, but sometimes you hear certain bands and you think, oh, the producer's the only guy in the band, maybe. and the other guys are just,
Yeah.
I guess that happens once in a while.
Bob Rock, Metallica. Right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Hey, Metallica's Saint Anger, okay. I liked a lot of songs off that album, despite the pots and pans as the drums. I thought there was a lot of good songs on that album.
Poor Lars.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted it to sound like rough and garage or whatever, and they wanted the snare drum to sound like that. I don't. Hey, but despite that, though, there were some good songs.
Yeah.
I thought there were. What are you gonna do?
Right.
We got to look past all the imperfections.
Well, dude, let's spin a tune now, man. Window. Tell us about it.
That song, I wrote it in my head while I was working. No lie. Hashtag no lie. I wrote the beat, and I wrote the guitar riff in my head, and the middle weird part. There's a middle weird part where I have some orchestra stuff in there, and almost like Pink Floyd-ish, strange, I wrote a lot of that in my head at work, and then I had to go home and learn it, and it was easier to write in my head than it was to actually play it. I'm not really great at guitar, but so yeah, but that's pretty much it. It's kind of, imagine a cat looking out the window and wanting to let him outside, and and then he wants to come back in, and kind of like that. But there's like a dual meaning to everything. So
Right.
yeah,
Cool.
that's about it.
All right, gang, check it out. We're going to spin some Window right now from Chuck Silsby and his Zovin project. We'll be right back.
Step down, face down, sunshine below. bring me. Please release me. I'll bring back everything.
All right, gang. All right, we're back. We're Chuck and Zovin here, man. Awesome tune, brother.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
I know you were saying a little bit of Pantera, maybe, but but when it changed, my mind immediately went to Pink Floyd, man.
Oh, it did, yeah?
Yeah.
Pink Floyd, yeah. Hey, I mean, that's what my buddy was telling me. He, when he was listening to it, he was like, "Oh, this is like a metal Pink Floyd or something."
Yeah, man.
I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh, cool." Like, hey, whatever works,
Right.
It's fun to do. I've never played it live, of course, but,
Right. But again, now this is something you'd like to do live, right? Or,
Oh, I'd love to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that live, And it's not really super hard on the drums, I mean, it's a steady double bass a lot of times,
Right.
I think it would be cool. I think it would be fun. Especially that middle part would be all,
Yeah.
Timings are weird, too, because a lot of times I always was weird about timings and tempo. And because if something is off with the tempo a little bit, it changes the feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I listen to a lot of slower metal, too. Like, I love the Melvins and Cult of Luna. And a lot of the tempos are real slower, super, super heavy, but the tempos of it are slower. And, like, if you speed them up a little, it changes the song. It doesn't feel as good. Even if you have a fast metal song, if you play it a little faster than it was originally like supposed to be, it changes how it feels, and it robs the emotion away.
Right.
So, that's one thing I always felt was important. Having the right tempo that lets that emotion. And a lot of times, how people break and they have a pause in a song. It has to be just the right timing.
Exactly.
Your emotions have to catch up with what you're hearing. So if you change the timing, you play the song too fast, guess what? You lost like everybody's, intensity. You lost all that feeling that you purposed for the song, and that the audience too. And they won't recognize that they won't recognize it. They're hearing your band for the first time, and you're playing the songs too fast. Next thing you know, they're not getting it, but they would get it if you just played at the right tempo that you guys originally felt it.
Right.
Then it would just like punch everybody in the face. But so it's important, and that it'd be hard. That's the only tough part with the song would be to make sure you play the proper tempo and not get too excited. Don't let the adrenaline affect your ability to to play like the right tempo, because that happens. Right. It's happened to me. I've done it. Oops.
It happens.
Right.
So, Chuck, man, when did you first get into music? When did you know this is something you wanted to do?
Unpopular opinion, okay, but that was Nirvana. Nirvana completely changed my life when I heard that, and I liked music beforehand. Like, I liked some Guns N' Roses songs. I liked Metallica, but when Nirvana came out, that's what, like, made me want to... That's when I started sneaking into my dad's bedroom and playing his guitar. That's when that's when I really wanted to do something. That's when music completely changed my life, And that's what actually got me into metal, was the harder, heavier side of Nirvana that most people never listened to or ever heard. The real dark, heavy stuff is what got me to appreciate other dark, heavy stuff. And I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. And then I'm a fan of metal now.
Cool.
That's what really happened. Unpopular opinion, and there are metalheads though that later admitted to me that same thing happened to them. But it wasn't until a long time after pointing the finger at me, we're like, oh, you listen to them. Like, well, guess what? Like, that's what got you into metal too, buddy. And they eventually admitted that to me, and I'm like, okay, guys.
Well, it's not Nickelback, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, no, that's too far. Like, I did meet people before, though. I met someone who said they listened to what's that one band? I don't know. There's a lot of metal bands I'm not really into, but they listen to them and Nickelback. And I'm like, I don't know how that's even. I can understand listening to rap and I'm not really into country, but some people are. I can understand listening to rap or alternative and industrial and all kinds of music and metal, but like I just don't see the. To me that stuff's just generic. Nickelback, it's just generic stuff.
Right.
It's like there's a producer and he's writing everything for them. That's what it seems like.
It's probably not far from the truth.
Right, and according to them, I guess like they don't even like that kind of music. They like metal, but this is not what they're doing.
But it pays their bills.
Yeah, it employs a lot of people too.
Yeah,
maybe it's important to employ people. I guess I don't know.
Well, yeah, but then and I guess this is why they take a lot of heat, and it goes back to what I said earlier that the fans can spot a fake.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You're right. Who doesn't think that? And I was never into Creed that much.
No.
I didn't. Shinedown is another one. I just don't. And hey, if I kind of admire people that do like that stuff and they really into it. Like, how do you do that? It's like that modern country music. Like, how do you? I wish I did like it. Just so I can understand, just so I could feel it, But it's kind of like they're ruining. I always looked at it this way: like music is kind of like pizza. Like pizza's good. Like it's hard to ruin like pizza tasting good, but somehow they just took a piece of like wet bread and just put sauce and put a slice of cheese over it and didn't even heat it up, and it's like it's pizza. You didn't put anything on it. It is pizza. Technically, it's pizza, but like there's like nothing. It's not that good.
There's no quality.
Yeah. How do you ruin that, though? I don't know. I mean, it's not that I'm judgmental. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
not
I hear
like
you.
standing with your arms crossed.
Right.
Like, we had a conversation on Facebook the other day about how a lot of times metalheads like stand in the back with their arms crossed and see how good you're playing, and you know what I mean?
Right.
And like stuff like that, and not all are like that, but like sometimes you get people who are like, you're not, your guitar playing isn't good enough, like you're not metal, you know what I mean? They could say that about me too, but whatever.
Right. Right.
But it's it's just not the stuff I'm into, and I wish more people would get into metal. Like recently, like I'm a big Butcher Babies fan. I love the Butcher Babies. They get a lot of heat, I guess, or fingers pointed at them because there's obviously two beautiful women in the band, and but when you listen to their music, and they're like, oh well, they're actually really good, and they're big fans of metal. They all love metal and stuff like that, and like a lot of girls I know are listening because girls need inspiration, And these girls I know, they're listening to country music, and their douchebag boyfriend broke up with them, And I'm like, you need this, and I make them a mix CD of Butcher Babies. I'm like, you need this in your life. And then they're like, I'm not really into this music, but this is really good. Hey, spreading the metal.
Right. Now, as soon as you said two beautiful women. I was reminded of a recent post, maybe yesterday, about why there's only, I guess, there's not ugly women or something.
Yeah, that was Smiley. Yeah, Smiley put that. You know, I mean, at the same time, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, hey, let's just listen to the tunes. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, like I commented on that post. That was my friend Smiley. I've went to high school with him and known him for years. You know, I mean, hey, Aretha Franklin wasn't a model. Like Janis Joplin wasn't a model. You know what I mean? They still made it. You know, somewhere. Yeah. You know, so there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of like. It's like 2018. It's not like okay to be pretty now. Right. You know, like if you're a pretty girl, you're not allowed to play in a metal band. You know what I mean? It's like, why not just listen to the music? And it's one of those things. Okay, and a lot of bands are jealous too. I think a lot of bands are jealous. They're like, well, they made it somewhere, and it shouldn't be because of looks. Well, I don't think it is, because there's a lot of pretty girls trying to play in bands and they're not doing good. You know what I mean? And they say, well, it shouldn't be about looks, but then they won't listen to the band because of the looks.
Right.
So, like, what are you kind of contradicting yourself there?
Exactly.
I mean, when you actually listen to the Butcher Babies, you know, listen to their music, like, you can't deny how good, and everybody in that band, to me, everybody in that band is talented. You know, I've seen them 7 times. I've hung out with them on their tour bus and their pizza party. They're real nice people, you know.
Cool.
So, yeah, and Ginger, too. And she's, you know, very attractive Ukrainian girl, you know what I mean? But if people have a problem with that, well, listen to their music. Guess what? It's actually really good.
Yeah, right.
You know? Whatever. What about an Elvis? Going back in the day in Elvis, he was playing music that... I hate the B word and the W word, black and white. I hate those words. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he was playing music that was already like that and already being written by people whose skin was darker colored, you know. And then it was okay to listen to Elvis though because his skin was lighter colored and all the girls liked him. And then you had that, and you had the Beatles, stuff like that, and you know. And I think the Beatles are amazing.
Oh,
you know?
God, yeah.
But, you know, girls liked them. But, you know, that was okay back then. You know, it's okay. Kurt Cobain, another one, if he was, you know, 300 pounds, he wouldn't have got as popular.
No.
You know? Hey, that's just how it is sometimes, but what are you going to do?
But, and now, we were talking a little bit before the show started, North American music scene.
Right.
That's... pretty much the way it is here in North America. But then you leave, like, this continent and you go over Europe or Japan, wherever, and it's, you could be 300 pounds with 2 heads. And it's not going to matter.
That would be metal.
Well, right? But it wouldn't matter because, I mean, outside of the States and Canada, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, it's about the music.
Right. And, like, I guess that's just how it rolls in the environment that you're in or whatever, you know. It's hard to really judge. And there's a lot of people that, you know, were, you know, heavier or whatever, and they, you know, heavier body wise, and they made it somewhere. And, you know, in other places too, it's different, you know. It seems like Europe has a lot more appreciation for all kinds of music.
Right.
Europe and Japan, you know.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like they have, like, they really love all kinds of music, and they love music, and they appreciate whatever it is. And, like, it seems like, from what I hear from people who've gone on tour and stuff, like, in those areas, I mean, like I said, even if you're not considered attractive to the world, like, your band will still have a free hotel room, and you'll still get paid, and you'll still, you know what I mean? United States doesn't matter, like, if you're not on the TV, you know, or on the, you know, if you're not, like, real popular, you know, it's hard to do something with your band. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Am I loud enough for anything?
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Okay.
I got this.
Okay. Sorry.
Wow. So, talk about some of your personal influences. I know you mentioned Nirvana, the Melvins, man, but anyone specific?
Oh man, I mean, a lot of local bands are inspiring. I think, I've seen Earthmouth.
Oh my God!
Many times. I really like Earthmouth. That real slower, sludgy stuff. What I mean? Yeah. I think they're really great. I really miss Silhouette Lies. Silhouette Lies were really cool.
Yeah.
I thought they should make it somewhere. But they weren't band anymore. 3 to Breathe, I remember them. We used to play with them all the time. And they were real heavy sometimes, and they went out to Portland to actually play more and do the band thing more. But
oh wow.
Portland and metal scene there. Scene, that type of music there wasn't
Right.
But a lot of local bands are always inspiring. They do. I guess like Ginger was definitely lately. I've been listening to a lot of Ginger. I've been really getting into them lately. So some of my next albums are gonna be like inspired by Ginger, probably Little Butcher Babies, probably Cult of Luna. I love Cult of Luna. Shiny showed me Cult of Luna and years ago, and he made me a mix CD.
Cool.
The mix CDs change lives. Shiny made me a mix CD of Cult of Luna. He put Cult of Luna on it, and I fell in absolute love with them. I actually cry listening to them sometimes. Yeah. We saw them last summer. We saw them.
Cool.
In August. Yeah.
Real cool.
Yeah, them. And I like all the older metal too. I mean, I like a lot of Metallica. I really like a lot of Metallica, and I like a lot of Slayer. I've been on a Megadeth binge lately, like listening to every single Megadeth album. I like a lot of that stuff. And Pantera and all that.
Right.
When it comes to like metal and harder stuff, that's
right. And just backing up a little bit here about our scene here, NEPA, man. It's not like, just I guess just for the small town it is here, Scranton, whatever, the Wyoming Valley, we have an unbelievable scene. Not just metal, but I mean, we pretty much have everything here: hip hop, country. But I mainly focus on the metal, but the scene is unbelievable.
There's all kinds of music. There's a lot of metal here. Metal bands that should be on tour and making a living off of doing their music. They should be on tour with all the big bands. They're really great. Like you mentioned,
Beyond Fallen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they should be able to.
Even like Earthmouth, Jesus Christ.
Earthmouth, Prosody too.
Prosody, Threat Point. Oh my God.
Yeah, Threat Point.
There's so much.
Threat Point's actually traveling a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've been doing that a lot, but there are so many good bands. The only thing I wish was different about this area was I wish there were more listeners. I mean, we have like some shows are packed. Some shows the same band could play like a month later, and there won't be as many people. Whether it's the weather, whether it's the potholes, whether it's
Parade Day,
whatever it is. I just wish, Parade Day, stuff like that. It's play on Parade Day, and then But I just wish there were like, I wish every show was packed. I wish people were driving from an hour away to come see these great bands. You know, and it's like so talented around here, but so underappreciated at the same time.
Absolutely.
And it's like we're those type of people that are like, this is great and all this music's great. You know what I mean? And honestly, too, like why there isn't as many people come out to shows where it might be because of the economy around here or something. That kind of thing too.
Right.
I don't know. I can't. But I just wish. I wish there'd be like a lot more people just like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go out. I have $10 to my name. I'm gonna spend $5 at the door. I'm gonna buy 2 beers and tip, or 1 beer and tip the bartender, and then just enjoy the night, be with your friends and stuff like that. And some shows are like that. some shows are like, you'll have a good night where there's 2 or 3 bands playing, 2 or 3 heavy bands, and the place would be packed. But I wish like it was packed like Breaking Benjamin was packed. You know what I mean? And I'm not really into Breaking Benjamin. Like I like a couple songs, but I mean, I think a lot of these bands are so much more unique and so much better.
Absolutely.
And that should be like, if everybody just went to those shows, you know what I mean? But what are you gonna do about that? Remember Spit Can?
Yep.
Syphilis, Spit Can. They, a lot of times they would be open up for Benjamin. I'd be going to see them, because they were really, and I know Nick pretty well. He has that leather shop in Kingston and everything. I know him well. But I thought they were one of the bands around here too that should have
that should have taken off. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my lighter died. Oh well.
It's a sign.
Yeah, right. I should.
No
I
more
honestly
cigarettes.
should. But yeah, and then and I guess there's always that friendly competition or whatever. But the one thing about our scene here is the camaraderie. If somebody's down, somebody's amp blue or whatever. I mean, there's somebody there to step in and say, "Hey, use this."
Oh yeah. Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable here.
Yeah, bands are around here. I think generally like they want to be friends and they want to support each other. And I've let people borrow amps, and I wouldn't have an amp. They're like, "Hey, just use mine." Slapjaw too. They would always do that. Slapjaw would always they'd say, "Don't bring any equipment. Just use all of our stuff." And it was like, well, really, guys?
Right.
Slapjaw is awesome.
They're great guys. Man.
Yeah, and they would always do that too. Like they would always be like, "Just plug in, use our stuff." It's like, okay, thanks. I don't have an amp, so that works out. Thank you. Amp blue,
Yeah, no, they're great guys. They are, and, but that's the general consensus around here is that they're everybody's great about stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, you get those friendly rivalries, but when push comes to shove, everybody's there to help the other guy.
Right, I believe that. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, you have some people sometimes that are like, our band's gonna make it first, or something like that.
Right.
And sometimes you have certain competition or egos are gonna happen. I guess you know what I mean. And it's not perfect, but I mean, overall, I think everybody wants everybody's band to do good and to do well,
Exactly.
Especially if you have, the humble. If you have that humble mentality of everybody's gonna, hey, we might not make it anywhere, but we're gonna write some great music and we're gonna play some really good shows and we're gonna have a fun time together and we're all big family, and that's pretty much the general feeling. And if somebody's not like that, it's sometimes they get come on, man, chill out. We're all friends playing in bands. Come on.
Told about themselves pretty quick.
Yeah.
But but it's all good though. It's all I love this area, and even I bring bands in from outside the area, and they can't believe what they see here because it's not like that in Philly or New York or upstate New York. It's not like that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there was a band that used to play around. They're not together anymore. I still know those guys though. Called Dawn of Apollyon, and they were from Reading, and they loved coming to Scranton to play. They said Scranton is the place to be to play, and it was some of those shows are pretty packed, I mean, they play Reading and stuff, and Dawn of Apollyon was amazing, and they're playing in other bands now and stuff, but they were thinking of doing a reunion tour together or a reunion show or something,
right.
But they would say we can't wait to come back to Scranton, and we became good friends with those guys. We'd party with those guys, and they loved coming and playing in Scranton at the Irish Wolf Pub in Scranton. It was wow, and it's we have something really great here, Just wish, what I'd like to see is I thought bands like that playing should be at the arena, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, if what you could do is playing at a small bar, and if the bar is packed with like 40, 50 people, can't lose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody's there, everybody's into it, everybody's happy.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Dude, what do you say we play another tune here, man?
Okay.
Natural Ninja on deck. What can you tell us about the tune?
What's that?
What can you tell us about the tune?
Very Melvin's influenced. In the beginning, very I tried to be sludgy, but I wanted to be melodic at the same time. Natural Ninja is like kind of like a cat. Cats are just naturally ninjas, and it's kind of like somebody who's a night owl too. Somebody who's like around at night all the time.
Right.
They walk around the streets at night, and I used to do that a lot. I still do that, but pretty much just wrote the riffs. It's one of the first songs that I wrote on the album too.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about it.
All right, gang, check it out. This is Natural Ninja from Chuck Silsby and the Zovin project, man. We'll be right back. All right, gang. All right, we're back with Mr. Chuck Silsby here. Dude, awesome tune, Natural Ninja. Had that, like, grunge. Like,
Oh, you felt the grunge there?
Yeah, man.
You felt the grunge, yeah. Which the metal side of grunge is what got me into metal, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. It was kind of, kind of wanted it to sound like sludgy and doomy.
Sludge, that grunge sound.
But I wanted it to, like, be a little more melodic, too, you know? That's kind of what I do, you know? It was the first song I wrote. I just wrote that pounding riff, you know, with those drums, you know?
Cool, man. So, dude, when you're not writing, rehearsing, playing out, what do you do for a day off, man? What do you do for fun and relaxation?
I mean, probably just go out with my friends, you know. I'm that guy. Maybe go out to eat, go out, drink not a beer, because I don't really drink beer, but drink a vodka or two, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
There you go.
You know? I mean, a lot of times I go to see bands, you know?
Right.
I do that a lot. I've used to almost maybe not as much lately, but, like, I go through little spurts where, like, every single weekend I go to 2 different shows that are going on, you know? Whichever kind of music it is that's playing, you know, try to see whatever's in around Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area, see who's playing, you know.
That's cool. That's cool. So I wish, you know, we were talking earlier about that, but wish more people would get out and do that.
Yeah, and you know, I have some friends that I get, like, annoyed with sometimes, because I'm like, all right, you go. I mean, everybody wants to go look for girls too. If you're a dude, you're looking for girls, you know what I mean. And the places that have the most people and have maybe college kids or whatever are these, you know, but they have a DJ or something, and they're, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's like, but sometimes people are like, oh, I'll just go out and have a couple beers. It's like, let's go pay $5 or $10 for, like, you know, to see 4 or 5 bands that are playing, you know, and, like, have one less drink or something, you know what I mean? Or pregame in your trunk or something, you know?
Right.
Bring pregame, like, have money for the band, and then have a pregame drink so you don't have to buy as much in the bar or something. I don't know. A lot of bartenders are going to be mad at me for saying that.
You know, then you know, if there's chicks at that bar, then you already have one thing in common with her.
Oh, right, yeah. Hey, this is a good band playing, right. Then you could talk about music, and she's probably cool. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's one of those things. I like to do that, but I like to just go and do chill things, too. Just go to a random, you know, nice little place and just sip on a blackberry brandy or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go to movies, man. You know. I like to... I'm getting older, so I don't know. I don't party as much as, you know, trying to be healthy, you know, stuff like that. You know, I go to the gym a lot.
Yeah, good for you, man.
We go to the gym, you know. I'm self-employed.
Oh,
I have a cleaning business.
That's awesome, man. Awesome.
Yep. I have a cleaning business and mainly clean windows.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing that sucks about music industry, especially on the indie level, is day jobs. Everybody's got them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know Paul Martin, he plays acoustic, and he just does that. There's some people that play open mics and do acoustic stuff, and that's how they get around. That's how they make whatever they, you know, do and stuff like that. You know, you got to play covers, but you know, cover bands, you know.
Yeah.
But like having a day job and then, like, you know, and then you have to go to band practice and, you know, work hard doing that, and then you have a show. I remember with the way Shiny and Jensen, I'm sure they remember this. We played like 3 shows in 24 hours.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It was like, and it was cool. It was just fun to us. And like, this is after we worked all week, you know. Like Friday night we played 2 shows in one night. I Brewed It My Way, missed that place, and we played a place downtown in Wilkes-Barre. So we did that. We played one show, we left, and we played another one. We played right after the one band played that we were friends with. Then the next day, we traveled to like the Pocono area for a benefit, and we played at like 1 o'clock or something. So we played like, it was like a short period of time. We played 3 shows in a row, you know. It was like fun, you know. Didn't make anything from it, but it was just like, man, we're playing in a band.
Experience, man.
We're having a good time, you know.
Yeah.
It was really cool. We do stuff like that. We play like 2 or 3 shows on a weekend, and you know, sometimes we get burned out a little bit, you know. But then, you know, next work all week, and very, very seldom do we play mid-show or midweek shows.
Yeah.
You know, it just if we did, it would be acoustic.
Yeah. You know, they're always tough. Aside from, you know, you're working all day and then you're playing, but the midweek shows are always tough to fill, man. You know. Yeah,
because I mean, less people go out.
Right.
We did actually. I'm getting messages here and everything. We did actually. There were certain places that would have like a Monday. And this place would be packed on a Monday. And this is funny, when the Way was going on, not too long after Jansen joined, you know. We were playing this one place in Wilkes-Barre, and it was packed. It was a Monday, too. I think it was a Monday, because they have, like, that was the only place to go on a Monday, you know. And this place would be packed. Like, all the tables are filled. People are standing around, the whole bar is filled, you know, and we played and we were loud, and I didn't think they were expecting us to be like we were. We were like super heavy, loud, you know, and we were on point, and I was really happy, and I was like really proud of how we were playing. We were all able to hear each other well. We sounded good. Little did we know how loud we were out to the bar, you know, and I mean, it was a decent sized place too. And I was like, man, like we're really killing it tonight, you know. After the first song, it was dead silence. Like people were just staring at us, you know. I was kind of proud of that moment, though. You know, we had one of those gigs where we were playing and we were on point. You know, we were playing amazing. We're all like really stage presence and everything. We were into it. We stopped. Song stops. You know. No more feedback, and just people were just staring at us, like not even horrified, just staring at us, like kind of like, okay.
Did that just
no talking at the bar? I mean, I guess we were that loud because people couldn't hear each other talk or whatever. Our bad, okay. We could have been quieter, still sounding good, I guess. But there was like it was complete silence, and I'm just like, okay. I guess we'll play another song. Yeah. So, like, we just got to just keep playing, you know. And then afterwards, there were a couple of people that came up to us and been like, wow, you guys are really good. You guys are great. You know, I was like, oh, thanks. It would have been helped if you could clap. Sometimes when that would happen, too, sometimes I'd be like, you can clap. It's okay. You know, whatever, you know. I'm kind of happy that, like, those things happen because you always remember that stuff, you know.
Right.
You always remember when people just looked at you funny and were like, "Man, these guys are from another planet. It's a planet we don't want to be on," you know. And then we played a few shows like that where people just either loved or hated us, you know. And there were some shows like, you know, it wasn't like a huge, like everybody was like crazy about us, but there was always like somebody that would come up to me, and I'd always tell them to go to Shiny too. I'd always be like, go tell my drummer what you just told me, you know, go, because he doesn't get as much, like, people going up to him, you know, he's a phenomenal drummer, you know, and people would tell me that, wow, your drummer is so good, like, I'm like, tell him, you know, tell him, because, like, right. You know, tell him how you thought that we were, like, you know, amazing and never heard anything like us before, and,
right.
You know, make sure you tell everybody else, like, you know what I mean, sometimes that would happen, too, and that would be like, wow, that one or two people in the audience thought we were amazing, you know. Some of them thought we were like weird, and some of us didn't think we were metal enough, or you know, or whatever. You know, some people thought we were, you know, wasn't their type of music, that kind of thing, you know.
Right.
And I always like that, because it's like, you know, that one or two guy. There's one or two of those guys around the whole world in every city that would be like, wow, you're amazing. Now, if you could just get it to them, that's the tough part.
Yeah,
Even with the internet, it's become hard to, share it with everybody.
And I always talk about this, how the internet is like a double-edged sword. On one hand, you're getting your music out there. You're reaching an unbelievable amount of people that you wouldn't be able to reach otherwise.
Right.
But there's 10,000 other bands doing the same thing you're doing.
Exactly, yeah. And then they have to sift through everything. Like, everybody's band is on YouTube, you know?
Right.
Sometimes I would, like, rickroll people in a way. I would name the title of the, I would name the title, like, Kanye West's, says something stupid or something, just for fun, just to be a goofball. And I'd put a live version of our band up there, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, But yeah, you can get your music out to all these people, but at the same time, you still need like a promoter. You still need people to sponsor you. You still need all that other stuff. It's just, it's weird, because nowadays it doesn't seem like, it's not always okay. Everybody's going to all these shows and you're playing, and there's a, what would you call them? PR guy, PR guys going around, ARs going around and checking your band out and seeing if they think that you have potential or that you're amazing or whatever it is. It seems like it's not like that anymore.
No.
And it's kind of cool that it was like that. Now they could just go on YouTube or
iTunes or whatever,
or something, or Spotify and stuff like that. And which I'm gonna actually put my stuff on CD Baby, and I've been procrastinating on doing all that stuff. I'm gonna put my stuff on there and do the whole, register it all with BMI, and I have it copyrighted, but I didn't do the whole CD Baby thing, or
right.
Which I need to get on that, like, probably this week. Yeah, so. But I kind of wish it was still like that. I wish people would be going to a weird local bar, and then people getting word of it. Hey, make sure you play really good tonight, because so and so from this record label, Hollywood Records or like Universal Records, is coming around checking these out. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Nowadays, it's just different nowadays.
It is, and it's because of the internet. But again,
hey, Gary.
Are you shopping for a label, or are you there yet?
I'm not. I mean, it's one of those things I never expected. Like, I figured, like, no matter what happens, I'm going to make music because I love to do it, and I love to do this stuff. I love to make CDs. I love to, make albums and put my stuff together.
Right.
I love doing that. And either way, if that comes along, I'm not opposed to it at all. If that comes, I'd love to, like, travel, and I actually might be getting involved with roadieing.
That's cool.
Yeah, so making connections that way.
Yeah.
But I would love to do stuff like that. You really have to dedicate a large part of your life to that. But if that doesn't happen, I'm cool. If it does happen, I'm cool.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't expect it to happen. But
with the internet and the programs we have today, you almost don't need that label.
Yeah.
But if you want to take it to the next level, I guess you kind of do.
Right. Yeah, and one thing, and I didn't do this to get, like, popular or to get signed. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I guess I have a lot of reasons for doing it, but I gave this album to my favorite musicians. I met the Melvins 4 times. I gave this to King Buzzo. I gave it to Dale Crover, the Melvins. I gave it to Johannes of Cult of Luna. I gave it to 2 members of the Butcher Babies. I gave it to Tatiana from Ginger just recently. You know what I mean? I didn't even know. My friend Ryan took the picture, and I didn't even know she held it up like that until he sent me the picture. I'm like, dude, she's holding my CD like this. I'm like, wow, And it's cool, you know what I mean? They could love it or hate it, They could pass it along to somebody, like, and just to be friendly with those people too, because they're not going to want to go on tour with people that are douchebags.
Exactly.
Just to let them get to know you and be like, hey, like, that's a really cool person. We get along with him on tour. He's not going to be, some kind of freak on tour or nothing like that. So,
right.
Let's get them something. Let's get them on the road with us. I would love to do that. I'd love to like go on tour with a band I love for fun, and I'm sure you make a few bucks or whatever. But I never, once I turned like 19, 20, I kind of was like, never expected to be like a huge rock star or nothing, or But it would be cool if there was a label out there that was like, hey, even a producer wanted to come along and say, hey, let's like change things up a little. Hey, I'm cool with that, Why not?
Right.
Why not?
Well, and then
YOLO.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then you get into like the nasty side of the business where everybody's got their hand out and they want a piece of the pie.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the. I remember a lot of bands like going bankrupt and stuff like that, and so they get ripped off and they get fronted all this money, but then they owe it all back, and it seems like nowadays the best way to make something is you're selling your music online, Spotify, all that stuff, or you're going on tour, and if your band's on tour, then I'm sure you make money on tour, and that seems like that's what they're doing these days.
Right.
And as far as like recording an album in a studio, a lot of it too nowadays is the guitar rigs. It's not the old setting up an amp and a microphone to it.
Yeah.
I still like this album is with a real amp and a real microphone. And there's no. The drums aren't real, okay? It's a drum program, but still, the bass and the guitar and the vocals are all like through, old school means of recording, But I'm gonna come out with an album because I'm working on 2 more right now. And the next one's only gonna have 1 metal song on it. The rest of it's acoustic and everything. But I'm gonna come out with an album called Babies, and that's gonna be super super heavy. And I'm writing songs for it now. But that's going to be real heavy, and it's going to be real like. But for that album, I'm going to actually use guitar. I decided I'm going to like try to make it polishy and, like produced. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm going to use like, all the top end recording stuff to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, now that's the cool thing. I guess the upside about doing a solo project. Mm-hmm. You can experiment the way you want.
Right.
You can do, whatever you want, but the bottom line is you're happy with the end result.
Yeah, and I could always change it up. I could take as much time on it as I want. The upside to that is I could do whatever I want. I could take as much time as I want.
Right.
The only downside is it's a lot of work to do it all yourself, and you don't have somebody setting all that up for you and helping you out and everything. That's the only... Doing it all yourself is the downside, but the upside is you could do exactly what you want and take as much time as you want. Yeah. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, but
yeah.
I like being able to do it myself and, that kind of thing.
That's cool. Mm. So, and I was thinking about, something earlier before, and I was like chuckling in my head here, and you were talking about maybe not partying so much and, healthy and going to a gym. And I'm sitting here sipping on Monsters, smoking. I was having a panic attack because my lighter died.
I like Monsters. I like Rock Stars, too. That's what we should be drinking, Rock Stars.
Right? And I'm just, I probably should quit smoking and maybe cut back on the Monsters, but
yeah. I mean, I never did smoke, so
that's good. Good for you, man.
I don't know how we could sing or how people who do smoke could sing like that.
Right,
if you're used to it, Yeah. It's one of those things, yeah. But one thing, mentioning the Monsters and the Rock Stars, back in the day, how I was talking about before, playing too fast or too slow. Right. If I drank like a rock star beforehand and we were playing the songs like the right tempo, I would feel like we're playing them too slow.
Oh,
You know?
because you had that rush.
So, yeah, and sometimes, like, when I first started playing in a band, too, I was playing these songs, but I would listen to the tape, like, man, we're playing too fast. We got to slow down. You know, and the drummer's like, but I like playing them like this, you know? Oh, I don't know. I mean, what are we going to do here? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, that's one of those things. You drink a Rockstar before you go on stage, you better not be the guitar player or the drummer. You know, if you're the singer, maybe, but, you know.
Right. Oh, jeez. So, Chuck, man, tell us about your most memorable moment on stage, man. Whatever band, whatever project, you're just your most memorable moment.
Man, that's a tough question. Do bands have easy time answering that question?
You know, sometimes
I
they
don't
have
know,
to
man.
think about it.
I don't know. I've had so many good memories playing. You know, so many good memories playing on stage. A lot of bad memories too. Sometimes you remember the bad ones easier,
Yeah.
sadly. You know, or it's not so much a bad memory, just like wow, that was punk rock.
Well,
That was metal because like everything failed and. You know, like I smashed my guitar or threw my guitar across the stage.
Here,
that was for fun, though.
This is always my
Not a
follow-up
banger.
question to that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your Spinal Tap moments.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And I know you're talking in the beginning of the show. You're talking a little bit about equipment not working, or
yeah.
But you have any you want to share with us?
Well, that one too, when people just stared at us funny, and it was completely silent. I mean, you couldn't. How could you replicate that again? You know. I use this really old guitar. I have it tuned down to B. My grandmother gave it to me years ago, and the headstock is huge. And every time I'd use that guitar, somebody would say, "Your headstock is huge, bro." You know, stuff like that. Just like, you know, strings breaking while I'm playing. That's happened, you know, equipment failing and then having to just go along with it, you know. Like, you know, purposely throwing a guitar off. I mean, I have 20 guitars, you know, and then, like, some of them aren't that great. So,
Right.
like, you bang them against stuff and to try to get cool, crazy feedback. And, you know, that was always fun. Mosh pit, seeing people moshing sometimes, like, that was, once in a while, people would be moshing around to the songs. And it's like, whoa, wow. You know? Didn't expect it. You know, sometimes I would never expect anyone to like it. You know, and then when people did, I was like, oh, well, cool. Okay. Some people like this, you know.
Cool, man.
You know, well, I mean, before Jansen and Shiny would always pretty much like play perfect, you know what I mean? He'd never have like drum failures, you know what I mean? Sometimes like, you know, like something would fall or whatever like that. But like I don't know, Jansen and I was usually some kind of, because we would have all sorts of pedals and stuff, and like, you know, nothing really went. It was usually me where things would go wrong. Jansen once in a while things would go wrong, but it was usually like some kind of equipment failure on my part or whatever. A string would break or like guitar would be cutting out. So, okay, well, I have 3 guitars to play tonight, so we're just going to have to do the songs in E flat and C sharp and not in B because, you know, this guitar failed. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that, or, you know. I mean, a lot of good times, a lot of weird, crazy things happening, you know. And people saying, like, we play all these metal songs, and I have this blues song called Hanging with Captain. And it's like a real blues, rock and blues song. And,
Right.
you know, I wrote it in like 3 minutes, 5 minutes maybe, years ago. And all these songs, these progressive metal songs that we worked really hard on that are like 11 minutes long, you know. Some people would really get that, and they'd love it. But then most of the people would say, oh, the Captain Morgan song, that was the best one. Oh, thanks. Wrote it in 5 minutes. You know, and first time I played it, I taught it to the band on stage. You know? And, oh, yeah, a couple times before Jansen and Shiny joined the band, I had a lot of crazy experiences with, you know, I'm still friends with all those people. I'm still civil with all those people, but sometimes they were like, they did some really messed up, weird things, you know. like cancel shows on me last minute and made up some kind of lie about their grandmother being sick. I mean, that's like stuff like that. And one time when the drummer did that, I went to the show anyway, because if one of my members would cancel or even whatever would happen, I would go and be like, I'm here, I'll play solo, or I'm going to borrow a couple of musicians. I would borrow drummers. I would say, I'm just going to play the simple 4/4 songs I have, so you don't have, you know what I mean?
Right.
And one night I played, and there's people that came to see The Way. This is way before Shiny and Jansen were in the band. And I found 3 drummers there, and I played with 3 different drummers that night. I played one with a couple songs. Another one went out to his car and learned one of the complicated ones.
Wow.
And he came back and played 3/4 of the song with me perfect. And I had the bass player, he knew the songs, you know. Played 3/4 of the song with me perfect, and the rest of it we just jammed. And that guy, I haven't talked to him, I don't know where he went, but he actually had me over and recorded 2 songs with me.
Oh, that's cool.
He recorded 2 songs, and they turned out really good. I gave him Fluid is one of them, actually. And then I had one more drummer who played a couple songs with me at the end of the night. And the stuff that was hard to learn, we just improvised. And that show turned out great. And the show was packed. It turned out great. And some of the people that came to see us, the one girl said, that was the best show you ever played.
Wow.
You know?
It was all on the fly.
Yeah, and all the drummers were better than the one I had. I hate to say that, but they were like really good.
Yeah.
And like I said, I ended up recording with the guys. So it's like if you kind of only have yourself, you know, and that's why I like doing the solo thing. And even if you're go and do it anyway, and something good will happen. And I had a great experience that night. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, have you reached a point where the crowd is singing the songs with you?
Yeah.
Describe that feeling, man.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of awkward. I mean, to be honest, this one song, everybody knows this song called Let It Go. And the chorus, it goes, like, say, you lied to me, you know. And a lot of times people request that song, and they'll sing it from there. I've had, when we played that song on stage, I had Candy from Sucker on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Jay Luke was on stage with us. And a couple other people were on stage with us, singing it with us into the microphones. And we were all like, people from other bands were singing it from stage. People in the audience, like, you know, and it wasn't like packed arena or nothing, but it was like a filled bar, and everybody's like singing along to that song because the chorus was so easy to sing along to,
right.
Even if you never heard the song before. And it was a good feeling, but it was kind of like, it's like, oh, I just didn't expect that people, you know, like it. And you know, sometimes it's an awkward feeling. I'm like, all right, but sometimes it's like, oh, good, I don't have to. Hopefully, they're in key. You know, because if I'm not in key, like, you guys make up for me, you know. Because sometimes that song was hard to sing and hold the note out, and you know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's a good feeling, but there were certain times where it was like an awkward feeling, you know,
right?
When people would come up and you didn't expect them to, and they took over the mic and they weren't in key. And I was like, oh well, okay, hey, punk rock, whatever. Yeah, you know, stuff like that. You know. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, you mentioned Fluid, man. Let's play that tune right now. What can you tell us about the song?
This is a song that my friend Abe, I haven't seen him in years. I don't think he's even on Facebook anymore. He's the one that played drums for me at the one show where I had no drummer. He went out to the song and learned one of the songs, and then came back and played it with me, and he played it like perfect, 3/4 of the way. I ended up going over his house. He had a little studio set up. I ended up going over his house, and I taught him the songs. I told him what kind of drums to play. This song's I pretty much did a Tool, Led Zeppelin, Smashing Pumpkins ripoff. Like, the main riff is like Led Zeppelin, but like darker and dronier. The beat actually is kind of like Led Zeppelin, but then it gets into like some Tool, Smashing Pumpkins, and this song's from like 2004, 2005.
Cool.
Yeah, and I kind of say it's kind of Toolish, So yeah.
All right.
I think I dig it.
Cool. All right, gang, check it out. We got some flute here from Chuck Silsby and his Zovin project. Man, we'll be right back. All right, gang. We're back with Chuck here. Another awesome tune. You can definitely hear the Zeppelin influence.
Oh,
in that,
the main riff.
Yeah.
The main, the beginning riff to Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And I did that on purpose, too. Yeah, I heard it was like another band like covering them, and it was a bad recording, and it just sounded. I was like, wow, it would sound really cool if it was like that, So I pretty much just, and then the rest of it's like Smashing Pumpkins and Tool. And
Tool, you can hear the
also,
Tool. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is my little way of combining a bunch of different combining a bunch of different bands I like, and isn't that what every band does? You know?
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah.
You know, you take your favorite parts and you kind of do them your own way.
Yeah.
See what happens. You know.
Awesome, man.
Now I'm live on Instagram. Hey, no one's watching yet, but you know, see it later.
Yeah, right. So, man, would you say you evolved as a musician over the years, man?
Yeah, definitely. I just listening to different bands or discovering older bands too. If you discover I go back and I discover older bands, even older metal bands, and you're like, oh wow, how did I miss this all these years? And like I went through Megadeth's whole catalog, and like their old, even some of their older stuff, I'm like, wow, like I could use this to influence me now, you know?
Right.
And even hearing even newer bands that came out, like everything new or old I listen to helps me inspires me to write something new, you know? So as long as I keep doing new things and keep, you know, I've definitely like changed how I write and what I write, you know. Back in the day when I first started playing guitar, I listened back to it and I'm like, out of all the 10 songs I wrote, I'm like, wow, this one is really good, but I'm just going to take little bits and pieces from the other songs because I could have, you know. When you first start playing, when I first picked up a guitar, I started writing as much as I could. But when over the years, I just kept growing as a player and as a writer, you know. Mainly as a writer, you know. I think I actually used to be better at playing guitar than I am now, but my, you know, what I write, now I can write stuff in my head, and then I have to learn it, and sometimes I have a hard time learning it. I have short fingers, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think I've, you know, I guess you'd call it evolved, went
grown
through changes, you know.
Yeah.
Now, my next album I'm coming out with is a lot of older stuff, but then the next one is another B-sides album. I'm gonna put Fluid on there. I'm gonna put like a lot of older stuff I wrote like years ago, which I still like.
Right.
You know, I never wrote anything that I didn't really like. You know, but it just depends on. I decide to write differently now. You know.
Right.
That kind of thing.
That's cool, man. And I guess that's that's what you want. You don't want to be stuck in a rut or, you know, I don't want to say purposely change, but you want to grow and expand.
Yeah, there's writer's block, but I think that sometimes if you have like some writer's block, just start listening to something old that you originally inspired you, or start listening to music, and then you're gonna be inspired again. Right. You know, you're going to be inspired. You're going to have you're going to get an idea. You know, the only problem I would have when it came to writer's block would be like, you know, is this riff perfect? Is this the perfect riff? No, then it's not good enough. You know, right. What am I going to do? I give up. Like, I can't. But that's the thing about writing. You're always trying to write the perfect riff, and there is no such thing. So that's why you just keep coming up with all these great riffs, you know. Right. I mean, I think some of them are good, you know, but you keep coming up with riffs that you like because you keep trying to write something perfect, and there is no such thing as a perfect riff. It's just different, you know.
Cool.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Dude, so what would you say is your ultimate musical goal?
Honestly, ultimate musical goal. I think just to keep coming out with albums and to keep doing it, you know. Like my next small goal is to release my next album, get pictures, get it physical copies printed. Hey guys, and just a couple of my friends watching on that. Get physical copies made. Get it on CD, baby. Get it on Spotify, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Get it get it registered, BMI, all that, whatever it is. Small goal is like get an actual band together again. You know, I've been talking to some people, but actual get a band practice going and play live. And just keep doing it, keep making albums. You know, selling like my next album, I want to sell like 100 physical copies, like $5 each. Like if it's a double, a double disc that I'm coming out with, it's gonna be like $10 or something. But just to sell 100 physical copies, like
that sounds easier said than done.
It is, yeah.
Especially nowadays with everything digital,
right? And you could. Yeah, and if I sell a lot online too, I'm happy with that. I did sell this album. I did sell some of it online, and I have it on the Bandcamp too and everything. But for my next album, my goal is to play a lot of open mics and play the old Captain Morgan song every night, and like it's selling. This song's on the album. I'd play that song so many times, and like it wouldn't be on the album. I'm like, oh, but I have a heavy metal, death metal album about kitty cats. They're like, oh, I'm not really into metal, but it's about kitty cats. But it's not all about kitty cats. There's two meanings to every song, but still, what metalhead doesn't like kitty cats? Right. So. And that's one of those things. I'd play acoustic shows, and I wouldn't have some of that stuff on CD. Right. But I'd be like, "But hey, I got this metal album," and like sometimes I would sell them that way. But I just want to play open mics, get my album done, and just keep recording and doing that. But I want to get a band together, and I do want to get a band together that wants to play out of here. I want to play around here, of course. Right. I want to play around NEPA. I would always want to play around NEPA. But I also want to get a band together, too, who wants to go away for a week and wants to go play everywhere. Exactly, Like the drummer, the new drummer, Chase, from the Butcher Babies, last time I met them and hung out with them on their bus, I was on their bus and I was saying, man, like, because Shani Jansen and I would travel in my little minivan to Philly and stuff, I was like, man, like, my band travels in a little minivan, this is awesome, And he heard me say stuff like that, you know what I mean? And then later that night when I gave Chase my album, and he goes, hey, never stop touring, and I didn't even say I was touring, but he's like, never stop touring, never give up trying to go on tour and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I like to travel and stuff. And I was like, that meant something that he like tried to be encouraging to me and say, hey, don't give up on going on tour. Don't give up on that. Right. Keep doing that. And so like I appreciated that. I wasn't like super like life changing inspired. I always felt that too. But it was just nice that he actually went and like went out of his way to say that. Make sure he said that to me. That's cool. And like, I want to get a band together that wants to like travel a little.
It's not, it's not how you get there; it's the destination.
Yeah, I guess whatever it is,
Yeah.
And
whether it's a tour bus or a minivan, it's the destination, man.
Yeah, and like he was like being encouraging, and stuff, and like I would like to get a band together too, either whether it's in a minivan and like go away for a week. Like let's play like 5 shows in 7 days, Let's do stuff like that. That's our vacation, is playing shows. And it's hard because money is a factor.
Yeah.
You gotta not go out and spend your money at a bar. You gotta like pinch your pennies and put it into going
in the kitty.
Yeah, exactly. And going to play for people who aren't gonna give it back and stuff all the time, So it's like it's hard. It's something you gotta do it because you love it, And I just to me, if a lot of bands talk about making it, To me, if you played a show, if you got to the show and your equipment actually worked and you played good, even if you didn't play good, hey, punk rock, whatever, like you made it. If you wrote your own songs and you played a show, you made it. And that's I think cool, that's man. Like that's success.
That's cool, and that's a really awesome attitude, a really positive attitude there, man.
That's what I think. That's how I feel about
'Cause
it.
I think so much. Sometimes it's the focus might be wrong. Money, fame, women.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the young guns. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, it's still, still too a lot of people, they have I never had the once I turned even 19, I was like I didn't have the becoming famous mentality, and band making it huge or nothing, and like even if I did, like, you kind of just have to appreciate what you have,
Absolutely.
Appreciate what you have. The fact that you have a band and you're playing shows and you're writing songs, and the fact that you played in Philadelphia, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
appreciate that, and then go to the next step. Try to go on I always wanted to go on like a 2-week tour or something like that.
Right.
Lose money, go on a tour, lose money, and have a great time.
Yeah.
Have a great time and sell your CD to that one guy in the crowd that was like, you guys were amazing. Sell that guy that CD. And
Yeah.
to me, that's like you made it.
Yeah.
You did something great. And a lot of the bands that are like you were saying, but Beyond Fallen, everything.
Yeah.
And how many people haven't heard them that should?
Absolutely.
That definitely should have them.
Right.
And I think some of the greatest bands and greatest music that is not heard by most people. Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I hear you, and that's that's kind of like the point of my show.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, putting the spotlight where it belongs, on you guys.
Right. Right. Hey, we appreciate that, man. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
And we need people like you to do that.
But that's I mean, you guys need the exposure. Metallica doesn't need it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But if you get one or two new fans tonight because of this, wow, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's what I think. I think that's cool, and I've always wanted to do interviews. I think I'm gonna edit the whole thing, and I'm gonna keep them up on.
All right.
Put them on my other pages. It's like fun stuff. Being part of the scene is fun.
Yeah.
Going to see band, being friends with all those guys. There's so many talented people. And it's just cool. It's just a good time, and it's like I think it's every band that has played shows around here. Like, you played a show, like, successful. Like the Melvins, they never expected to have anything happen to them. They're like, we just wanted to play one show in a parking lot, and next thing you know,
Yep.
years later, like, they're on tour now, and they've the best concert I've ever been to.
Right.
The Melvins.
So, Chuck, I want to play another tune here. Owner, man. What can you tell us about the song?
I think that's like the second one I wrote for the album. I wanted it to be Some Weird Times. It's the first song on the album. The song's kind of like I said, there's two meanings. The one meaning, I'm not going to say what it is, but the cat meaning is like, it's like singing from a cat's perspective, like if the cat could say things,
Right.
And then the middle part, I do like some falsetto. All of a sudden, the song turns not metal and becomes something completely different. And I do a lot of falsetto, and I'm not screaming. And then it builds up, and then it goes back into the heavy hardcore metal, whatever you want to call it, parts. So, and that's it. It kind of throws people off, and some people are like, "It's a good song, but I just didn't like that middle part." And I'm like, "Well, that's like." That's the thing, I did, so screw you.
Right.
But I mean, if you get it, you get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, gang, check it out. This is Owner from Chuck Silsby. We'll be right back. gang. We're back with Chuck. Another awesome tune, man. It's one you
thank
sent
you.
me earlier, so I would play it here and there on the show. So I'm digging it.
Oh, you have played it? Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Now, did you dig the middle part?
Yes, yeah. I'm open
You
to
dig
all.
it? All
yeah,
right.
man. I
All
dig
right.
it. I dig it.
I'm glad. I'm glad you dug the. I'm glad you dug the middle part. Because some people would be like, "Oh, that song is so good," but that middle part when you're singing all falsetto and high pitched, it's kind of, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey,
yeah.
whatever, man. Enjoy the rest of the song, man. Yeah, whatever.
It's cool. I like
it's
it,
my
man.
thing. You know, I kind of like the contrast.
Right.
Like the contrast of being super heavy, and like I said, I was in like Nirvana and stuff like that. The contrast, and a lot of bands do this too, though. Like Cult of Luna, they have those weird middle sections, those weird middle parts where it turns into a completely different atmosphere, and then they slowly build it up, or they pound you with a super heaviness later. You know.
Right.
And I always thought that was really cool. So like it was kind of like doing something like that where completely changed the type of song it was, and then to play with the emotions, you know.
Right.
It's not
right.
like it's not as much of a trying to be goofy or a joke as I make it up. Well, it kind of is. It's kind of like I'm going to do this in this song, and you know, but I really feel that part of the song. I really feel that your emotions are going through this little roller coaster, you know?
Right, right.
So that's why it makes me feel like a little roller coaster of happy emotions, you know?
Like I said, you're the first person that has to be happy with the end product, so
Right.
if you're happy with it, then
Yeah.
that's it, man.
That's how it is, and that's how it all, what did Bruce Lee say? Express yourself honestly. That's it, you know. That's what I think everyone should do, you know, and never get into the whole trying to impress others, or
Right.
you know. And I was talking to somebody the other day at the gym, and he was into, you know, and I like shredding stuff too, you know what I mean? I like the stuff I'm able to play, because I like to write solos, but I'm not so much of like a, you know, virtuoso, you know. I was never into that stuff, you know.
Right.
I like that stuff a lot of times, but sometimes people just view music as a sport, you know, who's better than who, you
Yeah.
know? And I never got into that, you know. Back in the day when I was 16 years old, my friend Lonnie, he was able to play everything on guitar. He was 16, he was able to play everything, you know. And he wanted to, I wasn't able to play like that, but I was writing all these really cool songs, according to him, you know.
Right.
And he was telling everybody, hey, we got to play in a band with Chuck. He has like these really good riffs and really good songs. And it was like, I never got like as much attention because I wasn't going, you know,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But like I was writing some really cool riffs, writing songs, and the solos I was writing were like my type, you know. And he wanted to play in a band with me because
That's
I was
cool.
writing
Yeah.
all this stuff, and you know. So, but I only wanted one guitar player in my band, so I didn't. So that never happened. But he ended up playing in other bands, and our bands played together, you know.
That's cool.
Stuff like that. But one thing, you know, he got into drugs, and then
Yeah.
so that's a bad thing. Don't do drugs.
Yes. Yeah. Very.
It's not
very,
good for your music. You know.
Not good for anything, man.
Nope, not.
Upcoming shows. I know you don't have a band put together, but you've been talking about open mics and stuff. You got anything upcoming?
No. This is the upcoming thing, you know, for now.
The Keep It Metal Show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm, like I said, when my next album's done, I'm going to be doing a lot of open mics.
Cool.
I'm going to be doing a lot of that stuff. And the metal song that I have on my next album, it's like a slow, like, doom metal type thing.
Right.
That song, that is going to be, maybe I'll play it live one day. I'm working with my friend Terrence to do the solo in it. And who knows, I might play it live one day.
Cool.
But I've got nothing really going on unless I have like, full band stuff going on. So we'll see. Anybody wants to play?
Cool, man.
And I've been talking to some people, but sometimes it's I just can't stick to one style.
Right,
I want to
right.
do metal. I want to be heavy. I want to fluctuate up and down within a song, even. But like sometimes some people just want to do just straight up hardcore, or just straight up thrash, and straight up sludge metal.
Right.
I want to
right.
do all of that stuff.
Right.
Sometimes even in the same song, I want to do all that stuff, and not everybody's into that.
Right.
I understand. Yeah.
That's cool. So, Chuck, man, where can the listeners find your music, man?
Bandcamp and SoundCloud.
Cool.
Bandcamp and SoundCloud. Like I said, I've been procrastinating putting it on. I'm going to put it on Spotify soon.
Right.
But if they check on Facebook, if you look up Zovin Band, one word, Zovin Band, Zovin Band, you could find it on that page. I have a music video up too. I made a music video for Owner. I made a music video.
Cool.
You can find it there, and then there I have links on there to my SoundCloud and the Bandcamp. The Bandcamp, if you look up Zovin, you'll find it.
Cool. Well, Chuck, man, I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight, man. It's been a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. It's awesome. Thank you for doing this. It's awesome that you have this going on.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank
People
you.
need stuff like this. It's it encourages other musicians too to like, wow, we got this going on. Like it's very encouraging to other bands and musicians to have something like this. So
Thank you.
More than you know, probably.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want you to partake in a little tradition we do here. At the end of every show, I play a tune called Middle Finger Up from a band called Blue Felix out in Minnesota. And what we do is dedicate the finger to someone, something, or whatever that has pissed us off during the week. And I would like
during the week,
yeah, or whatever.
How about during
whatever.
the whole life?
Your life, whatever. But I'd like you to partake in this little fest.
Okay, what do I have to do?
Just whatever.
The middle finger.
Just dedicate the finger to
okay,
whoever, man.
I dedicate that and the song, the middle finger. Do you know where that came from too? The middle finger.
No, tell.
I guess it had to do with the French, and they would cut the middle finger off of their enemies. It was one way or the other. I forget who. I think the French did it. They would cut their middle finger off, so they couldn't like pull a bow, an arrow back. So when people like got the best of someone else, they would show them their finger. And it was kind of like saying, "Screw you, I'm still okay." Had something to do with that. I don't know I forget the exact details.
Right,
what I
right.
mean? So, but to drugs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That's what if I could give something, it'd be my friends who I lost from doing drugs, my friends who've died from drugs, and that are ruining people's lives.
Right.
That's what I dedicate that to. Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. I'm going to dedicate the finger to my soundboard tonight. I love Behringer. I love Behringer. This is my second Behringer board, and there's always a problem with the volume getting crackly.
Oh, really?
Always.
Maybe it's me, though. It's not me?
I don't know. It's my second Behringer board, and it does the same thing, but I love the sound I get from it. I hate...
kind of like Fender amps, my favorite amp. But the input jack is always dying,
Yep. So I'm going to throw a finger at Behringer. Chuck, again, man, thank you. I appreciate this. Yep. Listeners, check it out, man. I'll be back next week. We're going to have Macabre, L.A., my buddy Alex Cortez calling in from Cali. And then we're going to have the boys from Threat Point here the week after, so be sure you're tuned in
Oh,
for
no
that.
way. Can I be here for that? I just wanted to sit and hang out with those guys.
They're cool. They're so cool, right?
Yeah.
All right, gang. I will see you next week. Until then, be safe, stay well, keep it metal. Blue Felix, middle finger up. See ya.
Balls that can never fucking hold me. I ain't got no time for the motherfucking city cats. That's how to send me off.